let's take a look at this. Hunger and poverty in Zimbabwe forcing desperate citizens to flee to South Africa, illegally so, despite the dangers posed by COVID-19. Musina Police and the National Defence Force continue to monitor the border. However, their work is being made more difficult by the dire state of the new 32 million rand border fence between the two countries. Reporter Hitekani Magwedze is live for us tonight at the Beitbridge border post. He joins us now. Hitekani, tell me what exactly you saw of what remains of that fence.
Well, the last time we were there at the border fence, Kathy, was when it was being erected a couple of weeks or months ago. And at that time, it was when there was one hole on the fence. And of course, so many people started speaking about it and condemning the state in which the fence was, the quality in terms of security feature that it was to contain people from either countries, South Africa and Zimbabwe. But when we went there today, what we saw was shocking, to say the least. There are multiple holes on that new fence. It's a 40-kilometer fence, 20 kilometers in South Africa and another on the side of Zimbabwe. And of course, there's that no man's land in the middle. But there are multiple holes on that fence. You don't walk a kilometer before seeing another hole that has been made on the fence. Some parts it's been cut. At some points you can see that there was something heavy that was put on the fence, and because it's not really that strong to withhold heavy things, it's been bent so that people can pass. In fact, while we were there, even with the soldiers on site, you could see multiple people crossing in and out of South Africa into Zimbabwe, into South Africa on about 10-minute intervals. So it's very clear that the fence as it is very ineffective as a security feature, and therefore the management of the coronavirus as it was supposed to do isn't what is happening right now, Kathy.
Doesn't sound like it's worth the 37 million rand that was paid for it. Hitekani, let's talk about those that are desperately fleeing a very, very difficult situation, within Zimbabwe's borders. How are the SANDF officers and members of the South African Police Force responding to these people?
Well, I think the best analogy I had today was speaking unofficially with a member of the police, South African Police Services, there in Musina. Of course, they're not supposed to be speaking officially to us, but what he said was, well, the law enforcement and trying to maintain law and order close to the border was trying to stop gushing water with toilet paper, and we saw that with our own eyes when a crowd of people ran in, and at that time there was only one police van with one police officer at the time, and he was really inundated. He couldn't stop all of them. As soon as he tries and stop one crowd, you see another crowd coming out of the bushes about a kilometer away. So there are multiple trails within the bushes leading to the fence, and it's clear that there are multiple places that these people know they can walk through, and the police and the army can only do so much because there's not a huge number of them also, and as we said before, the security feature, which is the fence, is not really helping the situation. But also, Kathy, we need to realize that the dire situation and the desperate circumstances that Zimbabweans find themselves in, you have them in lockdown, but a majority of them are in lockdown in their homes with no food. So they are forced to make means and try and use the trails that are there, escape police and the soldiers, to try and get into Musina, buy food and rush back into Zimbabwe and try and feed their families. So it's a desperate situation. It makes sense that they're trying to make use of the illegal means that are there and escape police. But police, as they are, really, it just looks like they're inundated.
Hitekani, what happens to them once they have been arrested by the officials or taken into custody by the police?
So procedure is that they are meant to be taken to a quarantine facility for about 8 days. And of course, that has a bearing on a mother who's left the home with children and grandchildren alone to try and get food and stay away from their family and the children unattended for about 8 days. That's the official way of how it's supposed to happen. But we know and understand that because there is some sense of compassion at sometimes that police have on these individuals. Sometimes they just arrest them, take them back to the border, the official crossing border, have them go back into Zimbabwe so that they go back to their families and find other ways, well, hopefully find other ways to survive and help their families. But what usually happens, as we understand, is that a couple of hours later, those same people then come back through the same holes, through the fence that they came into. So it's really ineffective to try and, arrest them now and take them into the border so that they can go back. But also, if you don't do that, you risk the spread of the coronavirus, because the multiple people that come through the border are unchecked. Their temperatures are unchecked. Although they're wearing masks, I must state, it seems there is a cognizance of the dangers of coronavirus, but they're unchecked, and some of them may have the virus and may spread it unmanaged. And there's obviously a need to try and manage the situation. But as it is, it's really unmanaged. And one other thing, Kathy, we spoke to some community members who have been complaining about the fact that the government or the Department of Health has released numbers saying only 90 people in Messina are infected by the coronavirus, but they don't trust those numbers because you have multiple people coming in and out of the province who are unchecked, and it's a real concern.
All right.